Hello everyone! Welcome back to Juno Conquest. Second stream in our little series. This one is going to be unlisted, unlike the last one, but it will be in a public playlist. I had lots of people saying, hey, I don't want to lose access to them. They're all going to be in a public playlist. Just don't want them clogging up the watch page of my channel. I know some platforms separate the live streams from the videos, but not every platform does that. And I don't want to spam everyone's subscription feed, right? So you can watch them if you want to, but there will be some summary videos and stuff made of these. Regardless, hello to everyone we've got in chat. We've got Brickster, Admiral Ben, Andrew the Astronaut. We've got Pedro, one of the game devs, in the chat, suggesting that we download some craft from the website today. I think they've had a big website update or something along those lines, so maybe we'll have a little go at that later. But to begin with, let's pick up where we left off. So we just got our first satellite into orbit, but it didn't have anything particularly interesting on it. It was just a proof of, hey, we can get something into orbit of Drew. So this stream, we want to try and launch some larger, more capable satellites. So we'll launch this CubeSat, and I think we can get some other contracts at the same time, right? So we need to reach, a reasonable velocity. We've got a newt. Hello, Cosaro. Ahoy there, Beardy. How you doing? Hashtag Matland sucks. Oh, yes. Fight the good fight. Yeah, let's make sure that I don't forget it. I'm doing good. It's been a long week at work. First full week back. I had the Monday off, of course, because it was New Year's Day last week. So back for a full week this week. So tiring, but I do enjoy my job. For those of you who don't know, I am an aerospace engineer. I do embedded software for aerospace control systems. So living the dream. But yeah, it's not an easy job. It's one of those things that sometimes I do long for a little bit of mindless, just grunt work, just typing things into spreadsheets and just to switch my brain off, because I don't want to act like I'm complaining, but it is very interesting, very challenging and engaging work. That's great, but there's a limit to, the amount of brain power you can use in one day. Is when everything you're doing, you have to really think about, learn a whole bunch of new stuff, keep it in your mind, training stuff. It's very difficult, it's very challenging. And that's a wonderful situation to be in. Different day every day. Sometimes I do wish, could I just maybe for the last hour of the day just type some numbers into a spreadsheet or something. I don't want to start like another major aspect of a project and then forget where I am on Monday or something. But yeah, it's very much a first world problem, complaining about having my dream job. I do love it. It's a really good job. But yeah, it's just, I'm tired at the end of the week. But it is wonderful. I still haven't got used to the fact that, not being at uni or not being at school anymore. My time is my own, right? I go home and voila, I can stream. I can do stuff. I don't have coursework I'm depending on. I can make regular weekly plans like a regular weekly stream. Here we are. Who else is in the chat? Hello, Elite Cereal, Corsaro, of course. Just tipped us. The website's been totaled for 2 days. Oh. Oh, a service provider nuked one of their centers and they're still trying to fix it. Right, okay. So we can't download a craft from the website. I thought there'd been like a website update and that's why things were in flux. But no, it's just bricked. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Werner von Kerman's in the chat. Hello. I'm so honoured to have such an esteemed Kerbal in my chat. Let's not get talking about what you were doing between 1939 and 1945. Finished For All Mankind. No spoilers. I haven't finished season 4 yet, but I'm really enjoying it. I've watched the first 3 episodes. And really, really enjoying it so far. In the previous seasons, I love For All Mankind. There's always at least one plot thread or one character it follows that I just have no interest in. But this season, it's been firing on all cylinders. Every single plot line I've been really invested in. So yeah, I think they're doing really well so far. But we don't have any spoilers for season 4. I haven't finished it, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't. Completely forgot about the Druid helmet modification. Still glorious. Yeah, we got the helmets on on our different people giving us contracts here. The finale is so good this season, it's worth every minute. Okay, that's good to hear. It's good to hear it's got a satisfying finale. To be fair, they always land the finales. The finales are great. Maybe the exception of the season 3 finale wasn't quite so great. But yeah, the series is considerably better since they killed off Danny off screen. Anyway, let's get stuck in. So, satellite mission, and we've got another Drew orbit. Okay, so we have to get into a specific orbit. It'd be good if we can put the CubeSat there. It'd be good if we can get to 4 kilometers a second. Last time it was 5.5 kilometers a second to get to orbit, wasn't it? Because it's half scale, I want to say, not 10th scale, like KSP. So, plus 162, but 85. That's quite a narrow margin. So we can't use a solid kick stage this time. We're going to need to actually have some control. And we're going to need to be able to pulse our engine. We don't have enough tech points to unlock orbital maneuvers in the LCS nozzles. But we do have some better engines. We've got the gas generator. More efficient nozzle. Mage engine. And we can increase our rocket engine size even further. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got a few different things that we need for this. And we can just use gyros to orient the spacecraft, so that's not a problem. They fired me in KSP too. Yeah, I assume that's because of Werner von Braun's... I think there's an increased awareness of his controversial past, really. I think as time's gone on, people, particularly people toppling statues and like people reviewing the narrative on historical figures, right? Particularly, well, the folk over who basically built Bristol, right? He had his statue thrown into the river. And, people like Winston Churchill and the likes. I think having access to information, easy access to history, now an alternate point of view of certain historical figures, you can start to see that, there are no true heroes. Well, there are definitely still some true villains, but people are complicated. It's Kerry Kerman now, I think, instead of Werner. It's not Gene. Gene is still the mission control, I think, but yeah, Kerry Kerman is the new scientist. Yeah, and I'm drinking a Corona because it's been a long week. Right, let's build some rockets. Let's get heading on in. So this was what we used last time. I've forgotten what we called it. We called it something to do with vodka, didn't we? It was the Absolute. That's it. Absolute. I should have called it Absolute 1, actually. Let's resave that as Absolute 1. And then we're going to make Absolute 2. And make a lot of changes. There we go. That one can be deleted. Cool. Okay, so... first things first, that kick stage has to go, but we need to have a little look at our CubeSat. How big is that? Yeah, that could fit in a pretty small payload fairing, actually. That's alright. Okay. So. Yeah, let's change this up a bit. We can't have a fuel tank there. We're still going to need our gyro here, but we're going to need a better engine on that. But, yeah, I don't know how the payload fairings work because I haven't used one yet. Here we go. Fairing nose cone. To only connect to fairings. Is there a fairing base you have to put on? Fairing base. Here we go. Base of your fairings. When using the fairings must be the first part you connect to your craft. That's all fairly self-explanatory. We don't need a particularly big one. Will this be able to fit in here? Ooh, a bit of a tight squeeze. Needs to be a little bit wider. I'm going to adjust our grid size. Let's see if we can just... Maybe we'll just make this whole thing a tiny bit wider, right? Probably makes a bit more sense. We're going to need a bit more performance regardless, so let's do that. There we go. Okay. It's very intuitive, Juno. It's all procedural, and I know it's a little bit more intimidating, just the Lego bricks of Kerbal, but yeah, it's really intuitive. I think I'm just very rapidly getting the hang of it. I do like it a lot. Right. Have we got any options on this? I assume we got some options in the part manager, like how many... Do we have an option on like how many fairing sections it's made of, or are they always made of 2 halves? You don't need a massive fairing, really. Oh, what we do need is some way of decoupling the CubeSat, I think, unless it just decouples itself. Will that be able to? Aha, yeah, it will just decouple itself. Okay, cool. So we don't need to worry about that. So the CubeSat decouples itself from the rocket. And that is just attached. Yeah, cool. Okay, we've got a fairing around that. Wonderful. Classic British drinking Corona. Is that a British thing? I thought that was more of an American thing, drinking Mexican beer. When I think of Corona, I think of like Fast and Furious and sponsored adverts. I love how Corsaro has just got their name just endlessly cycling at the bottom because they're currently our one and only donator. You know, if you want to have your name at the bottom, you're welcome to. But similarly, I am reading the chat. These streams are nice and quiet, unlike the KSP streams, so I can actually keep up with what people are saying. Corona is the only beer I know and I'm British. The only beer you know? You sure you're British? That's a great question. How many people here are actually beer people? Because I've not had very many friends who like beer. And I've always been an outlier. Like, I thought I'd be weird at uni if I was someone who didn't like beer. But no, from even the first time I had beer, I was like, oh, actually, I quite like that. When I was maybe a little younger than 18. I never had the visceral reaction to it so many people do, and so many people I've been friends with, exclusively drink cider or things that are slightly sweeter. But I've always liked beer, really. And I'm not saying that people should, like beer. Like, drink what you want, drink what you like, drink what you enjoy. Don't feel pressured to drink what's cool and what people expect you to. But yeah, I'm just surprised. Like, just so few people I know actually enjoy it at all. Cannot drink beer, really don't like it. Oh, Lags is here. Hey, Lags, how you doing? Well, people say they just don't drink. That's very respectable. Not much of a beer drinker. Rum, however. Okay, rum. I have an interesting relationship with rum. It is my favorite spirit. But it's like my kryptonite. If I have a few drinks and I drink any amount of rum, that's it. Next day is just a write-off. Complete write-off. Here's a question. Do we need gimbal on this engine? We've got the control gyros here. I think we can get away without it. I think it's small enough we can get away with just using the control gyros. So we unlock the gas generator. Ooh, crikey, okay. Which is obviously going to be more efficient, but probably considerably more expensive, right? How expensive is this going to be? Does it say how specifically expensive? That's the whole craft. Say how expensive just this part is? No. Oh, here we go at the top. 397k to 20k for a pressure fed engine. For a third stage, yeah, we only need pressure fed. We do not need the performance of a gas generator. And yeah, it gets cheaper the lower the chamber pressure, but we still obviously want the highest chamber pressure we can get. We'll probably keep it Carolox if we just don't have any other choice at the moment. Size. This can probably be... What's the thrust to weight ratio on this thing? Where's our TWR? Here we go. 8 times. Yeah, this can definitely shrink. And then really we want the longest nozzle length that we can do, but still fit it within the fairing. Let's shrink that down a little bit. We really want it in line. Then again, we've got this big fairing beneath us, right? So I guess it needs to really fit into this interstage. Yeah, we're not going to have it be that. We'll shrink that down a little bit. Make sure it fits into our interstage. So I don't know if it'll catch on the interstage. I don't think this splits open, does it? It's the engine sort of slides out of it. Can make it a little bit wider, I guess, but nah. I think I just messed up my rocket. Oh yeah, I need to Control Z that. There we go. That's probably fine. Yeah, how much altitude are we getting from that? 1.59 kilometers a second. That's probably going to be fine because we can start and stop this engine. So we should be able to get ourselves into a nice, comfortable orbit with it. Fingers crossed. Cool. Okay, let's have a little look. We've got exactly 5.5 kilometers per second on this thing, so we haven't really impacted our delta V budget too much, which is good. We should have a little bit more control. I'm going to change the main engine on this thing, though, because we want to be able to ramp this up to carry heavier and heavier payloads. So I think Mage Engine is the way to go. It's this single engine costs almost all the available funds we have. And to be fair, it is absolutely massive. We could shrink it down. That makes it a bit more affordable. I suppose this size. Yeah, you know what? I think we can do this with that previous engine. We have just enough delta V. So we're gonna, because, yeah, wow, I did not realize how expensive that thing is. I mean, this obviously is only a pressure-fed engine. This launch vehicle isn't going to get us very far, but I think it can do the CubeSat. And right now, that's all we need to do. So let's not run before we can walk. Rome is nice. 3/4 of a liter, though. That's not a good idea. Yeah, no kidding. Gas generator is better for first stages compared to pressure. Well, it would be. So a gas generator engine, for those who don't know, it means that you actually burn a little bit of your propellant. It could have an oxidizer-rich or a fuel-rich, or one of both. It's usually fuel-rich, though. It's usually a fuel-rich pre-burner because oxidizer-rich stuff tends to devour the engine. So you have a fuel-rich pre-burner. Use a little bit of your oxidizer and put a bunch of fuel through it, and that powers a turbo pump, which pumps fuel into the engine. And with an open cycle gas generator, which I assume that is, the output from that pre-burner you just throw over the side, which means you can achieve higher chamber pressures, because the problem with then, full flow or any kind of staged combustion where the output of that pre-burner goes into the combustion chamber, you've got to make sure that your combustion chamber's pressure doesn't reverse the flow, right? It doesn't go back up the other way. So you've got to do a lot of complicated rocket engineering there to make that work. But yeah, obviously a pressure-fed engine is just the pressure that's in the tank. It's pushing the fuel out, whereas in a gas generator, you're pumping it out with a turbo pump. But yeah, that's quite complicated and obviously very expensive. So yeah, we'll try this. Oh, we need to save it. Right, we've got our absolute vodka rocket. Let's go. View issues. What are our issues? Too many stages assigned. Oh, we have a limit to the number of stages, I think. Where are our stages? Here. Oh, here we go, because we only have 3 stages, right? No mention interstage. No mention fairing base. Interstage. And then the CubeSat deployer at the end. Can we remove this from the staging? I don't know how we reduce the number of stages here. Can we... A pressure-fed engine is a balloon, or me after Taco Bell. For God's sake. What do we do about that? Disable the staging on the first stage and then turn it on manually. How do we disable the staging? Is that just... Can we disable... Because then we can just disable the staging on the CubeSat and, yeah, deploy it manually, as Lags is suggesting. CubeSat... How do we disable that staging? Have to go into additional settings in the part properties of each part that has staging. Right. So I think we can probably disable the staging on that CubeSat deployer and do it manually. Because we don't need a stage for that. Ah. Okay, maybe we have to have staging on that. Let's try that first stage engine then. Auto activation, is that it? No. I think I'm blind. Stage activation. Here we go. None. Does that fix it? Yes, it does. It does. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. That's cool. So you actually remove stuff from the staging. That's cool that it places actually a limit on the number of stages, so the complexity of essentially the program that the mission's following. That's cool. And it just gives an interesting design paradigm that KSP doesn't. KSP doesn't really have you grapple with the actual complexity of the mission you're doing and have that be part of the career mode. Which is why you end up with people, you know, going to Elu with the starting parts. Cool. Okay, that'll work. Yeah, you can't disable the staging on the CubeSat, unfortunately, but yeah, first stage engine was a good shout. Hello, Riptionary X is neutered at the stream. Hello from Norway. Hello. Hope you had a nice night. Been watching you since Fall of Kerbin with Tape. You're a part of my childhood. Can't let Corsaro be lonely in the donation list thingy. Well, thank you, Riptionary. Part of your childhood. Don't say that. It just makes me feel old. Makes me feel really old. Yeah, I've met people and they're like, oh yeah, wow, you know, I grew up watching Collaborative Warfare. I was like, oh no, don't say that. I was only 15 when I made Collaborative Warfare, and only what, 16, 17 when we were doing Fall of Kerbin. It was a while ago now, but I'm unlike Collaborative Warfare, I'm still very, very proud of Fall of Kerbin. I know a lot of people. Okay, I didn't realize that would actually activate as soon as I throttled up. I didn't realize it was started by... Oh, no, wait, we want that to be... Oh, that is already east. Okay, cool. Okay, we're off. We're off already. Good to know. Yeah, that was not the most dramatic of launches. Because I thought I would fuel the... Thought I would throttle the engine up and then activate it. Corsaro, it's getting out of hand. Now there are two of us. Hashtag Matt Allen sucks. Yes. The good word. Keep on spreading it. I sneak it into as many videos as I can. I get a little bit silly with it. Like, whenever I have to, like, name something or whatever. Always just sneak a little Matt Allen sucks in there for the... eagle-eyed amongst you. As Matt is very prone to saying. Where's our trajectory? Here we go. Aha! Apoapsis. We've got that. Okay, cool. We keep pitching over, and I would like us to stop pitching over. I think it's because we don't have any gimbal on this engine. Oh, there we go. Next stage. I think this one does have gimbal, so we should... Yeah, okay. So that one only had control on the fins. And so, of course, as we were getting out of the atmosphere, it's starting to struggle to control it a little bit. But this one does not have any such troubles. We'll have this over sea level. Okay, we don't want to pitch over anymore because our apoapsis is still a little low. So, desired orbit, for that one's just periapsis of over 80 kilometers, but we want a specific orbit of 85, so 162 by 85. Okay, I think we can manage that. We're not doing fireworks. We're doing these ones. I think we're going to achieve this one just fine. That's only 5 kilometers per second, right? Or 4 even, I think it was. I forgot you and Matt are different people. How? Just because we're both British. We don't even have remotely similar accents. You know, he's from Leicester. I'm from London. We don't sound anything alike or look anything alike, apart from the fact that he grew a beard to crimp on my style, which was fun when we were able to have our team name be Beardy Brits in Paris. But so many people are like, oh, he's trying to be Matt Lown. Like, my channel is older than Matt's. Like, Matt used to be a Penguinaut. He used to watch my videos before he even made his first one, which is why, like, we've ended up being friends. Because I remember he used to comment on my stuff, and I remember when he made the Eve submarine as his first video for a Reddit challenge, all just because he couldn't be bothered to take screenshots throughout instead. And then that ended up blowing up, and then he's, you know, managed to make a career out of it. On top of his career as an eye doctor, man. But we're clearly very different people. With so many people like, oh, trying and failing to be Matt Lown. It's like, no, not really. I find it very strange. How you could confuse the two of us? What do I know? We've got a very flat. Oh, hello. That's a lot of gimbal. Oh, let's try that again. We've got a very flat trajectory right now. I think we need to actually get ourselves up out of the atmosphere. I pitched over a little bit too much. I was trying to stop it pitching over too much at the start, but as I say, I didn't quite have as much control authority as I might have liked. There we go. So atmosphere ends at 80 kilometers in Juno, I want to say. But we want to get to... Oh, we finished burning that stage. Next stage. How long until apoapsis? Okay. I don't know how long this stage is going to take to burn, but we can always throttle it. Yeah, we need to up that apoapsis to 162. Right, let's go. Hey, look at that little CubeSat. Very nice. Yeah, we're pushing that time to apoapsis back a lot. Let's probably throttle this engine down. Does the performance decrease when you throttle the engine down? Because in reality, you throttle an engine, your performance does go down quite a bit, but I don't know if that's the same in Juno. I do notice the engines are infinitely throttleable, sort of same as Kerbal, even though that's not the case in reality. But we want to actually get a little bit closer to that apoapsis. Then we do want to bump it up to 162 kilometers. And then we can always just circularize from there. There we go. Okay, we've got our apoapsis. Now we just need to you can make the engines have a minimum throttle. We want to make that stop, but there were worries about that being too hardcore. Yeah. No, I fully understand that. I'm not complaining about it. I do fully understand. Anyone who doesn't have an understanding of rocket science would want to be able to throttle all the engines, apart from the solid ones, obviously 0 to 100%. It makes a lot of sense for a game. That very much is under the category of have it be an option, as it very much is, if you want to play that way. But yeah, don't enforce that on everyone else. No, I fully agree with that, Pedro. Alright, we've got a little way until our... I was going to say apogee, but it's not G, is it? Because it's Drew. Oh, and these are the other launch sites. Okay. So that's the Juno village. Actually quite a high inclination there, which I guess I'm used to launching from with For All Kerbal Kind. We've got a base in the desert, the Drew Space Center. There's a drone ship. There's a ground station. So I suppose, I think we get points for visiting these, don't we? Tech points. They're like milestones assigned to Drew. So we'll have to build an aircraft at some point and go explore some of those. Could do cheaper for less ignitions, but unlimited be the base. Yeah, I don't know, like limited ignitions and the like, I think that's very much in the realm of a realism overhaul kind of mod, which I know is somewhat in the works. There's whispers about it. It's very much not at a point where, you know, we could do a series or something on it, but maybe once this series is finished, I'm very interested in that kind of thing, do real scale solar system and what realism mods that do exist with the engines and the like. So I have to say, I've been watching Carnassa's series on new RP1, and I don't know, not really a huge fan of the direction they've taken it. They have just turned it into a micromanagement simulator, and I get that some people love that. But even in the version of RP1 that we're playing in For All Kerbal Kind, there we go. We have our orbit, and let's launch this CubeSat. That's the blow-up CubeSat. Okay, I guess we just stage. Oh, and there it goes. How do I swap to it? Can I swap to it, or do we just watch it go? I guess it might not be a separate vessel. It might just be an animation. I probably should have waited till we're on the sunny side to do that. That was a bit silly. No, I haven't watched the season 4 finale of For All Mankind yet. But yeah, like, I don't get micromanagement for the sake of micromanagement. Yeah, I should have waited till the sun came up to deploy that CubeSat. I didn't realize it would just fly off into not even the sunset. Just vanish off. You can aim at it if you can click on it. Oh, well. Well, it's gone now. We did it, though. We did it. It is a separate vessel made out of normal parts from the game, not model. It doesn't have a control unit, so you can't fly it, though. Okay, but you can focus on it if I'd clicked on it, but I did not because I'm an idiot. But we deployed it. There we go. We're happy. I should have clicked on it, but it's gone now. I didn't make a save. What is the quick save button in this anyway? I should probably. Oh, it's there. What's the hotkey for that? I probably need to know that hotkey. It's F5 and quick load is F8. Prefer that to be F9 if there isn't already something for F9. Just to you know, line up with my KSP muscle memory, as it were. Nothing else on F9, right? Other open photo library. Okay, that is now going to be F11. Cool. Hide UI. I want that to be F2 because I'm used to that with KSP. Actually, so that means this one can probably be. This one can be F10. There we go. Okay, and then let's have quick load be F9. Boom. Cool. Done. Right, let's end the flight. I think we completed all of these. Oh, we didn't get to this one. Right, we didn't quite go faster than 4 kilometers a second. So that takes 5.5 kilometers per second delta V. We're only going at, yeah, 3.5 kilometers a second. Okay. We'll get it on the next one. Unless we got some fuel left. We do have some fuel left. Should we just see how fast we can go? Let's try it. Are we at our periapsis? Yeah, we will be in 5 minutes. Let's get to our periapsis and see how fast we can go. So we're coming quite close to the atmosphere, so we'll speed up a little bit. Let's just burn the rest of this and see how we can do. Okay. Kaboom! I don't think we're going to reach 4 kilometers a second. Not quite. Oh, so very close, though. Oh, 80 meters per second short. Oh, well. Let's save that flight. We have left a bit of space debris there. We probably should have deorbited that, but I'm sure it's fine. Is there a tracking station? Or is it... you just resume flight of different things. Okay. I might just... No. We'll leave the space debris there. We'll we'll go find it later. Blow it up with a missile or something to test our debris removal. Cool. Drew orbit. So we got a slightly higher orbit now, which we can definitely achieve. Yeah, we can do that one. We have another CubeSat mission. So it even suggests here you do more than one satellite contract at a time. This one, interesting. Gets at 88 kilometers plus or minus 104 kilometers. That's a very generous margin of orbit. Yeah, sure. We should do another one of these. And we'll get another Drew orbit. We can go into this orbit and it will still meet the requirements for this particular one. Obviously, the requirements are a little bit more specific here. Yeah, cool. We can probably just use the same craft there. So this one performed just fine. Yeah, I think let's try it again. Go for it. Why not add difficulty settings like curve where you select before starting a save and have a super hardcore difficulty that has limited ignitions and min throttle? So there is a hard mode, I think. There are difficulty settings. There are things you can do. I very much think that that's something that can be done by a mod in configuring all of that, because I mean the mission of Juno is to make everything procedural, and everything configurable, right? So that's very, very doable, and that's very much a restriction you could place on yourself if you wanted to. But yeah, it'd be nice to have, I think, a custom career, and that's the thing. Someone just has to put some effort into a custom career, and that would all be very feasible to make. That's what I'd be interested in. But as I said, just, you know, I'm only interested in the core features when it comes to realism. You know, the engines, the technology, and then the realistic mechanics. And that's what I felt was all the RP1 needed to do in KSP, but they just kind of got a bit off the rails, trying to make an entire space center management simulator. And even in, as I said, the version that we're in, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you have to train your crews up for, like, flying certain spacecraft and stuff. And all it is you go into an extra window, pay a bit of funding, and start training. And I just remember to do it. And all it does is mean that you build a spacecraft, you're ready to fly it, and you'll be like, oh, you haven't trained the crew up yet. You have to wait an extra 60 days for them to train the crew. And it's like, that is just pointless micro for the sake of micro, right? Why is it not enough for me to just assume the astronaut complex that I've already paid for and the astronauts/cosmonauts that I pay in their salaries every month, they're not just training in the background? Why do I have to manually go and specify what training they do? That just seemed dumb to me. So that was a difficulty option though, thankfully. To credit where credit's due with the RP1 devs, every time they introduce a new feature, they make it optional. It's in the difficulty options. So that was one of the first things that we disabled. Oh, we didn't pitch over quite enough this time. That was one of the very first things that we disabled in for a couple kind. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That just seems like a dumb mechanic. Just micro for the sake of micro. We disabled it very quickly. I think we might have the habit of getting into orbit kind of nailed. I mean, you know, maybe being a spacecraft engineer in real life helps a little bit. But yeah, I think we got the hang of it in Juno now. There are tracking stations, but not something the same directly as the KSP tracking station, though I wish they were, because with RSS that screen, it looks very cool. Yeah, it would be nice. I am missing, like, a Space Center view. The view of the main menu of the career is a little dry, I think, of just Juno and Drew. Having a view of the Space Center and the little facilities and stuff, I do like that. And it'd be nice if it was the place that you start at. So it starts with the Juno village, and then it changes depending what base you're using. Because I assume we're going to unlock the other bases later on. Oh, we didn't put the payload on the rocket, did we? I just realized. I realized we didn't put the satellite on it. Because we got given a. Is it the same satellite? I don't know if it is. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was the same. Maybe we didn't need to do that. Okay. I didn't know if the part had changed or something. But no, I think we were fine. Actually, we probably didn't need to abort that. Okay, that was just me being dumb. My bad. Okay, well, we're going to launch it again anyway. It should be the same. Whoops. We reset it. I wanted to try the RSS in Juno, but I'm not sure what the best system map for it. You mean like a Delta V map? Probably just use one of reality. It'll be close enough, I suppose. You would think so if it is RSS. But the Delta V requirements would be the same. Use the RSS Delta V map for KSP. If they've done their job properly. Okay, right. Let's do this again. Yeah, Deep's laughing at me. You can show a space center or multiple, perhaps. Yeah, it'd just be nice to, I think, have a view of the Juno village, you know, on that screen, instead of just space. You know, see the little place you're working, you know, see the hangars that you're building the rockets in. I just think that would be cool. I think it just gives you more of a connection to your budding space agency than a blank screen and a view of outer space, you know? I think a tracking station might not go amiss. I don't know how hard that is to implement, but I assume it's just, you know, the map view where you can just pan to different things. Just so you can be able to see your missions in progress. Riptionary! Now that Corsaro hasn't been in chat for a bit, it's time to give a bit higher than him. Pound and 1p. What's your plan now that you have a degree in spacecraft design or something working for the US military industrial complex? Well, I have a job as part of the UK military industrial complex. I can't say where I work, because I do work for a defense company. It's not my plan forever. I don't want to work in defense forever. I don't like working in defense, to be honest. But even in my interview, they said, hey, you know, do you have any moral issues with working for a defense company? And I said, no, I don't. But I refuse to work on weapon systems. I work on control systems, and I've already got friends I went to uni with who didn't have such qualms, already making like twice my salary designing missile guidance systems and such. But, you know, companies like MBDA that make missile systems and BAE, I didn't even apply to them. I draw the line at that. I just personally do not feel comfortable with building something that will kill someone, that will injure someone. You know, I'll design systems that keep people safe, and yes, you know, systems on a military vehicle that keep people safe, but I still feel I am protecting people. I still feel like I'm working on something that I can sleep at night, right? I just draw the line at that, because I don't want to work in defense, but particularly in the UK, the only way into aerospace is defense. You just got to bite the bullet. There's no early careers for space. It was interesting going to Paris, you know, particularly with the French Space Agency, Ariane and everything. There's so many opportunities on the continent. I mean, I even got offered a job by iSpace. Not that they ever replied to me, but, you know, there are so many incredible opportunities on the continent. And you just don't have those in the UK. Most of the interesting space stuff are all startups. They're so small that they can't really take on early careers people. They can't afford to take people on and train them up over the course of years. It's only big defense companies that can afford to do that. And even then, those positions are competitive as hell. Particularly in the UK, really, like, I was told my entire childhood, oh, we're desperate for engineers, desperate for more engineers. And yes, our country is desperate for engineers, but nobody wants to be the ones to pay to train them, right? There are not very many graduate level jobs. It's really hard to get onto grad schemes. Your only options are to have friends or family that you know working in the business and get your foot in the door, or to be really, really good. And if you're wondering which of those two I was never particularly good at the making friends part. But I was first in my year of my degree, so take that how you will. Here we go. And okay, we can probably wait to cruise a little bit, because last time we had to put the engine at a really low throttle. What's the planetary system of this game like? The star is very blue. I think it's implied it's at the end of the... sort of near the end of the universe, isn't it? It's like the star is a blue dwarf? Is that a thing? I know blue giants are a thing. Usually if something's, you know, a star is blue, it means it burns a lot hotter. Which usually means they're bigger. But I don't know. I don't know much about astrophysics, to be fair. Very much orbital mechanics guy. The aim, though, is to do maybe 5 years at the company I'm working for, which, to be clear, I do enjoy working for a lot. As defense companies go, it could be a lot worse. But, yeah, work for the company that I work for maybe 5 years, something like that. Yeah, for the foreseeable future, I enjoy working there, I enjoy where I live. It's a lovely place to live. And then, at some point, if the right opportunity opens up, at you know, a space startup, Orbex, one of those kind of things, reaction engines, then the aim is to end up there. Or perhaps this is looking good, but perhaps is a little bit too high. Oh, well, we can always drop it down. Cool. We're going to have to drop the periapsis a little when we get to the apoapsis, but that's fine. We've still got fuel left. Oh, we've got loads of fuel left. Yeah, we're fine. Blue dwarf is something we predict will happen when a red dwarf burns through its hydrogen. Okay, right. Reaction engines are the Skylon people. Yes, they are. So they actually have a graduate scheme. Oh, look! There's our other thing. Still in orbit. Cool, yeah. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. It's going to run out of power pretty soon, but that's fun. Yeah, so they actually do have a graduate scheme, even though they are, I guess, kind of a startup. And I applied for it and never got a reply. That's the thing. You'll find that with even the fact that I, ticked all of the boxes. You'd think that I would at least get an interview with most companies. I applied to 30 plus companies. There were plenty more that I didn't apply to that I could have, that I just didn't, MBD. I didn't want to make missiles, BAE. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. But I applied to a lot of companies and I got interviews at 2. That's even interviews. And then I got 1, which is the one that I'm working at. And I was first in my year. All right, that just puts in perspective. Oh, actually, we're facing the wrong way. We want to be retrograde. That puts in perspective just how hard it is to get a job in this industry in the UK. And I don't want that to discourage you if you want to get into this industry. You absolutely can get into it. It seems really one of the better ways to get into it is actually with an apprenticeship and doing a degree apprenticeship or industrial placements, that kind of thing. The uni route that I did, well, I've ended up in a lot of debt and I'm not sure that it was easier. The great thing about the uni route, really, and the reason I did the uni route is because there's no limit to how far I can go. Right? Right, we have our apparatus too high for the CubeSat now, so we need to go back round to the periapsis and lower that back down again. But yeah, like there's no limit to how far you can go once you have your degree. If you do an apprenticeship, you get paid to learn, you get into the industry way faster, you learn way faster, and you can become by far the most experienced person there. But you aren't the most qualified person there, and that just means you are always going to be passed over for things. And that's not just me being cynical. I've seen it. I did work experience at this place. I'm not going to name the company, but the manager there, basically, like, he'd worked there for 30 years. He knew the company inside and out. Most knowledgeable person there, decades in the industry. By far the person that you want to have as the manager. But for 10 plus years, they've been passing him over for promotions. They kept hiring people over him just because he didn't have a degree. He hadn't gone and got a degree. He didn't have the piece of paper saying he's smart, even though he was extremely intelligent. So, they just had terrible manager after terrible manager after terrible manager. And then finally, the entire company just went, look, just make him the manager already. And they did, finally. The owners of the company, who usually if they see someone with degree versus someone with not degree, they're just going to go for them. And of course, he was the best manager they'd ever had, and he was the manager for years and years and years, and he was incredible. That's the thing; it took him 30 years to get there, right? And I think that's just crazy, and a right shame. They didn't know what they had, and I just saw that, and I was like, right, I need to go to uni because that's where I want to be. Someday, right? Anyway, let's deploy this CubeSat. Here we go. This time we can actually see where it's going. We'll turn the UI off once we've deployed it. Let me focus on it, and voila! We got ourselves a little CubeSat. There we go. First satellite, everybody. Check it out. Let's warp to the like sunsets. Oh no, I lost focus on it. I didn't want to lose focus on it. Oh, I think it's gone. I think it's gone now. Okay. Lag says, imagine having to pay course fees. Scotland, yeah. Scotland, they don't have to pay tuition fees. Lucky buggers. I still think having to pay tuition fees is criminal. I've really, yeah. Education should be free. Just saying. Right. Save that flight. Awesome. This is going quite well. We've launched 2 CubeSats. And I haven't even had to restart a flight more than once. Right. We've got a bunch of tech points. And we've got a bunch of new things in the career. Oh! We have a new customer. Chuck Schaefer. Look at that. We got another bloke with a helmet on. General Schaefer is in charge of the not-so-secret alley base. Oh, so this Area 51. That's why it's in the middle of the desert. Facility hidden in a salt lake surrounded by mountains. He will command you to do some really interesting contracts, but he seems to be hiding something from you. So that V2 that we built last stream... I know I was joking about this nation maybe doing some shady military stuff. There are actually military contracts. That is cool. That is real cool. Military contracts. I know these contracts are much more interesting than the KSP career mode contracts. I know that like KSP career mode gets a lot of flack, and a lot of people tend to prefer to play on science mode. But I think it's good when someone else has added more interesting contracts. So I always use contract configurator and add a bunch of the community contracts and stuff, and that makes it really interesting. That's what I did in Beyond Kerbal and Endurance. And something interesting we're doing in For All Kerbal Kind, of course, is we're adding military contracts, which you might see in the next episode. It's coming out on Sunday. So it's cool to see these part of the stock game. Very cool. Aye aye. Is there a different greeting for each one? What is this one? We've been closely following your launch activity and you seem to be doing pretty well. You need to prove you can work with us by getting to orbit fast. Launch a new craft, lift off to start. You have 5 minutes. I wonder why you would want to get to orbit really quickly. What possible use could you have for that? I think our current rocket can reach orbit within that speed. But, oh, it unlocks the new location. That's very cool. Very cool. So we could launch from here. I think we can get to orbit within 5 minutes with our current one. And then we can do another CubeSat thing. Is this just another... Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. 2 CubeSats at once. I think we can easily do that with the amount of Delta V we've got, though. Assign the CubeSats to the right contract in the designer. Interesting. So you can assign CubeSats to the contracts? That's cool. Yeah, we'll do that one. And then this is a specific orbit. It's quite a... Ooh, I don't know if we can make that one, actually. I don't think we have enough Delta V to get to that high in apoapsis. We'll accept it, but I don't think we're going to be able to do this one. But yeah, we're going to do this 100%. New location, alley, pad. Cool. Okay, so we want to add a second CubeSat. I think we can probably just do that with the same craft. Okay, you can't do part symmetry unless it's on the side of a fuel tank. I don't know if we can fit them side by side. We could always just... Well, yeah, no, it's a deployer, isn't it? It's like it shoots it out, so it wouldn't make sense to have one on top of the other. So they do kind of need to be side by side. But we don't want them within the fairing. Would having something within a fairing cause issues? I don't know if the fairings have collisions or not. We've got the developer in chat, so gotta let us know. People are agreeing with my education comments. Education costing money, and especially so much, is absolutely absurd. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. For quick deployment, I usually build extremely ugly solid rockets with cursed flight profiles. Definitely one of my least favorite contracts. You can never do part symmetry on CubeSats. Okay. Can we make this fairing like thinner? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, you know, we're going to try and place these side by side. And see what happens. Okay, so turn the grid size off. Put these as close to each other as we can get them. That's about symmetrical. Yeah. That might be fine. I don't know if clipping things into fairings has bad consequences in Juno, but I guess we're going to find out the hard way. Cool. Let's find out. Wall thinning is only in Tinker panels, which is disabled in career mode. It's basically cheating with the amount of stuff you can do in it. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Fairings don't have collision normally. Okay, cool. So we can just do this. Awesome. Let's save this craft. Where's our new base? Wait, there's a lunar base? Whoa! That's cool. We got the Drew Space Center. Bunch of different pads there. So this is the new place. I thought we unlocked the alley pad. Oh, we unlock it by completing the contract. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I thought we could launch from it, but no, we have to prove it first, and then we can launch from here. Very cool. Secret military base on a salt lake surrounded by tall mountains. It's got a bunch of different things there. Awesome. Right. Let's do this, and then we unlock ourselves a new launch site. Gonna launch from a secret military base. Just means you have to launch like 20 flat sats in one launch, and their deploying solar panels gets tangled during mass deployment. That sounds fun. That sounds cool. Yeah, like Starlink style flat sats. That's awesome. Okay. We probably need to just reject this fireworks contract. I don't see us doing it. It doesn't actually offer us that much money. Right, get to orbit fast, and then get to a specific orbit. I think we can do that, right. I think we're just going to do... How do they define orbit? Is it just any kind of orbit? It's just above 80 kilometers, I suppose. Right. Let's do this. We have 5 minutes. Periapsis has to be greater than 80 kilometers. Okay, cool. And what's this one? Periapsis... Yeah, so we're not going to do the slow coast up to Periapsis this time. We're just going to gun it. Which means you want to have quite a flat trajectory, actually. Okay, so this one, 191 by 80, we can do that, and that's our 2 CubeSats. Yeah, we're doing multiple contracts with one big mission. I think that's absolutely fine. See how many contracts we can do in one go at a time. That's fun. Wall thinning only in Tinker panels. Yeah. Just like in real life. Have there been instances of flat sats getting tangled? Is that a thing? I know plenty of Starlink satellites have fallen out of the sky. It was interesting doing my space environment module at uni. We were learning all about how the solar cycle impacts the atmosphere and how that in turn impacts space debris in orbits. And then, I kid you not, like halfway through that course, we had tutorials where we talked about current events and things and did calculations based on them, and a lot of stuff on Starlink. And that was when a bunch of Starlink satellites fell out of orbit because they got injected into you know, they low starting orbit, because that's when they do their checkouts, and if one of them fails, they just fall out of orbit very quickly. And there was an increase in solar activity, atmosphere, you know, expanded because it heats up a bit, and they didn't have enough thrust to boost themselves up into a higher orbit, so a whole launch worth of Starlink satellites fell out of the sky. It was just like, considering that's exactly what we've been learning about, it was the most perfect case study. And it's the first time in history that's happened. It's really cool. But it is responsible of SpaceX to launch Starlink satellites into a low parking orbit to do their checkouts first. See if something's been damaged in orbit. Before you put it into a higher orbit, and it's going to stay there longer. You know, check if it's been damaged during the launch. It makes a lot of sense. Honestly, as terrifying as mega constellations are, Starlink is actually being very responsible with their altitude choices and maneuvering. If there's a 1 in, I think, 100,000 chance of collision, it's 10 times rarer than the sort of agreed upon standard. And if there are problems, you know, they're in low enough orbits that they'll fall out of orbit within 25 years, which is the agreed upon standard, which isn't actually a good enough standard, but I've got a video on the way all about space debris and how most people are wrong about it, and particularly Kessler syndrome. So you've got that to look forward to. It's interesting, like when I did my Helium-3 video, I had a few comments along the lines of, oh, gamer tries to teach science or whatever. People forgetting that, you know, playing Kerbal Space Program inspired me to become an aerospace engineer in reality. Right? Like, I'm qualified to talk about this stuff. I probably will open that video with, if you're wondering why I'm qualified to talk about this, I have a master's degree in it, right? You know, I am very uniquely qualified to talk about this specific subject when it comes to science communication YouTubers. And this isn't a problem like with, oh yeah, there we go, those fairings are fine. This thing looks cool. This has got little eyes. This isn't a problem with science communication YouTubers, people like Joe Scott and stuff. I've got a lot of respect for them. I really enjoy their content. But you know, obviously it's quite obvious plenty of the time, like, they don't know what they're talking about on particular topics, right? And that's fine as long as they are open about that. I like Joe Scott a lot because he's very, very open about the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He researches a topic and he wants people to go and do their own research and find out more themselves, right? He researches into a new topic every time he does a video, learns a bunch about it, and just says, hey, this is a cool thing. Here's what I understand of it. And he's very transparent about that, which I like. I don't like, and I think as I've gone through uni and to an extent become an academic, I start to see it a lot clearer. A lot of science communication channels who aren't transparent about the fact that what they're saying might be wrong. You know, there's nothing wrong in learning about something and sharing it, but you need to be transparent about the fact that, you know, if you're talking about something you don't know about, talk about your research, show where the things you're saying came from, make citations. Because if you made a mistake with a citation or something, or, you know, if that citation is wrong, people can see where you came to that conclusion, right? And maybe there's a paper that debunks that paper, and they can go, oh, here you go, right? Coming back to knowledge should be free, though. Making that Helium-3 video, I'm just going to deploy these 2 CubeSats. This time I'm going to wait till we're, like, near sunset, though. I want to get a cool shot of this. But when I was making that Helium-3 video, I was still using my university access to all these scientific journals, Science Direct and stuff. But some of these, you know, you have to go through a lot of papers to find the ones you want to use. Some of them, like, they're 50 quid a paper, and it's like a 3-page PDF, and you look at it and you have to read it and scan through it, because some of them don't have decent abstracts to realize that it's not useful and you don't need it. The only reason it's feasible for me to do that video is because I have free access to all that stuff still, because they hadn't closed my uni account yet. They have now. And I can still get access to it thanks to friends that I still have at uni. But people are talking about, oh, do your own research, you know, don't believe things that people say, don't just believe articles. But a lot of people, it's not financially feasible for them to go and do their own research because the original paper is paywalled and by a publisher that didn't even fund the research. Publicly funded research, right? Gets published. The publisher takes all the money. The original writers don't get any of the credit, and the publishers didn't even pay for the research, right? Absolute madness. Meanwhile, let's deploy these satellites, huh? Yeah, look at them go! Look at them go. That's a cool shot. Knowledge should be free, though. Particularly publicly funded research should be publicly available and freely available. I think it's absolutely insane. People profit from publicly funded research. Profit just from the reading of that research, right? If the public paid for it, they should be able to read it, right? Not rely on articles and media warping whatever the conclusions are. I don't know, like again, like the more qualified I become, the more research and stuff I do, just the more broken I realize the whole system is. Enough ranting about academia. There we go. We completed it. Cool. That means we have unlocked ourselves. How do we reset the camera? Here we go. A new launch site. I don't think we can get to this orbit, but we are going to try. Time to parallaxis is 35 minutes, so we'll just warp around. Can I up the minimum brightness, actually? Just because I'm aware that YouTube compresses the heck out of things that are too dark. So I feel like a little bit of an ambient light boost. Yeah, here we go. It needs to be made. Ambient light in space. I might just whack that up to 300% actually, just for YouTube's sake. The star brightness is quite low as well, isn't it? Yeah, that's a bit better. Set that on 100%. We happy with that, guys? What do we think? Yay or nay? Stars a bit too bright, or that's probably a lot nicer to look at, right? Let me know, because obviously what I'm seeing, it looks a little too bright for me, but I'm aware that on stream and YouTube's compression and the like, it's going to look a lot better for you guys. Definitely better. Okay. Boost the upper stage into a higher orbit to piss off the authorities and get extra points. Yeah, we're gonna put it into a higher orbit. See if we can complete some of these contracts. I don't think we will, but yeah, I think that looks way better. Way better. Being a bit brighter. Yeah, people are saying good. Cool. Glad I did that then. Cool. Let's at least see if we can do this light speed contract. Fingers crossed. We got a decent amount of Delta V left. Is there Delta V in here? Yeah. We don't have enough Delta V. You can tell we have an offset center of mass as well, because it keeps trying to lurch to one side, so these aren't quite in the right place. Okay. We didn't quite get to that orbit. We got to, yeah, about a third of the way there. But that's fine. We completed 2 contracts in one, so that's still pretty good. Shadows look much better with boosted ambient light. They're way too dark by default. Okay. Yeah, people seem to agree that's nice. We need to go into the tech tree and unlock a bunch of new stuff. Cool. So we got heliosynchronous orbit. Interesting. So they're actually introducing sun synchronous orbits. So those... it even says this game's physics aren't that fancy. Yeah, I was about to say it uses the oblateness of the Earth, because the Earth isn't actually a sphere, it's an oblate sphere, so it's a bit fatter around the equator. So the gravitational field isn't uniform, which means if you're in a polar orbit, your orbit actually precesses, or any kind of inclined orbit, your orbit precesses around. So if you're in a slightly over 90 degrees, I think it's about a 97 degree orbit, this one says 100 degrees. It depends on your altitude as well. But the rate at which your orbit moves around the Earth, your whole orbit like rotates west to east or east to west, depending on your inclination. it's the same as the rate at which the Earth moves around the sun, which means that your orbit is just always in perpetual sunlight, and also means that your orbit, if you have it in sync with the Earth's rotation, it's really good for meteorology because you orbit over the same points on the Earth at the same time of day every day, which is really useful for seeing change, right? You don't want to be orbiting over a point at different points of the day. It's hard to see the change there. But if you have a photo taken of the same point, the same time of day every day, it's very easy to get a time lapse and see how things are changing. So it's very, very useful orbit in reality. Oh yeah, it even says here, I'm not sure how I feel about the fourth wall break. One of your contractors just being like, yeah, this game's physics isn't that fancy. So they know they're in a simulation, apparently. But don't give away all the CIA's tricks. But yeah, it's nice that they introduce you to them because KSP does not. So that's cool. RP1 does. But yeah, KSP doesn't. That's cool. It would be interesting if a game did implement orbital perturbations. I know Principia obviously introduced the gravitational ones, but you've also got radiation pressure and then non-uniform gravitational field. A lot of computation stuff. Not something I'd expect from this game, but it would be interesting to implement. Cool. So can we get into that orbit? Polar, slightly retrograde orbit, not even polar. And quite a high one at that. I don't think we can... we could do that with a much bigger rocket. I think let's go for this one. And we'll go for light speed as well. See if we can do those. And with another... There are 4 CubeSats in orbit at once. You know what? Maybe we can do that with a bigger rocket. We're going to do these 3 with a bigger rocket with better engines. We got enough money. We got a new launch site near the equator, I think. Which gives us a bit of a bonus. And we got a bunch of new tech. So, orbital maneuvers. I think we probably want to get because, yeah. This is a perfect sort of deep space mission. And we don't have enough tech points. Never mind. Okay, what have we got? Static electricity, got the batteries. Nah, it's more car stuff, which we're not doing today. We might do plane and car stuff in the next stream, which I think would be cool. Parachutes, we're not returning anything yet. Okay. Yeah, really we want the orbital maneuvers node next, so we'll see if we can just make a bigger engine. Just with the tech we have, because we have access to that mage engine. It's expensive as heck, but I think we can make a much bigger rocket with it. Just need to port Principia over. If any game would implement precession from general relativity, I mean, you only really tend to see effects like that in like the orbit of Mercury and things like that, things that are traveling very fast. So I do wonder if KSP2 will take it into account. I doubt it, but with Daedalus engines and stuff, you're going to be traveling at relativistic speeds. You got to wonder if they're going to model things like that. I don't know. Right. Yeah, we do need more stages. Wait, could we have unlocked more stages in the tech tree? That was in one of these nodes, wasn't it? Check your staging. Here we go. That was max staging 3. So things overcomplicating things. Yeah, again, we don't have the tech points. We don't have the points. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute to design that rocket. We'll probably start, maybe not quite from scratch, but we're going to build a much bigger rocket. Something that's future-proof for all our next few contracts. So I'm going to go get another drink, have a little break. 5-minute break, and I will be back very shortly. So see you all in a minute. And we're back. We are back, and I'm not. Why am I not on my webcam? What's going on there? Let's try turning it off and on again. Oh, and I'm here. Hello. That was strange, wasn't it? It didn't turn back on again. They were saying that's pretty cool art. Yeah, it's not actually my art. So this is a interesting story. So I did a charity stream for... Yeah, I was just checking there. So I did a charity stream for KSP TV. It was a charity thing for Christmas, I think it was. And they gave me a whole bunch of artwork. And they said, hey, here you go. Here's a bunch of art. KSP art. Use it however you want. There you go. And I actually adapted one of them into my channel banner. I've used them on stream since. And then I get this tweet from someone called Yoshi. And this was only like 6 months ago. And they're like, hey, I noticed you're using my artwork without attribution. And they're like, I don't mind you using it, but put my name on it. And I'm like, who are you? They're like, I made the art. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. And I felt terrible. I felt so bad about it. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I've been using your art. And I just, I think probably just design this whole rocket from scratch, actually. Yeah, I want to go from scratch, I think. And I've been using their art the whole time. I want to actually take these off because I might use them. And not noticing. I assumed that it was owned by Squad or done by Squad, and they just given me permission to use it. But it wasn't their permission to give because it wasn't their artwork. So I said I was very sorry, and I put artwork by Yoshi on the channel banner and stuff now, as should have always been there. We're doing 4 of these this time, right, weren't we? Yeah. If we put this on the side, can we do symmetry? No, I don't think so. Maybe if we put a fuel tank on, but regardless, we're going to want 4 of these. So let's make this a little bit wider. But yeah, I am planning to get some artwork, you know, some stream artwork done just for me. 0.3 meters, that's pretty good enough. Is there a way I can put 4 like nodes on this? 4 attachment nodes at the top. Is that a thing you can do? No, I don't think so. It's annoying that you can't put symmetry on these. Hey, you can change the mission they're on. That's fun. Maybe if we had a fuel tank, we could actually like put them on the fuel tank or something. I don't know. So it says attaching to the side of a fuel tank, but nope, you just can't do symmetry on these. I'm not sure I like that. I think you should be able to do symmetry on these because now these are going to be at like kind of arbitrary positions. If I offset this to one side, can I then attach another one to the middle? No. Which does make it kind of difficult to know that it's in exactly the right place. Besides setting everything relative to the world instead of local. That does work. Okay. So I thought it worked. But now this one isn't. Is this one relative to the... It doesn't seem to be directly opposite the other one. Oh, maybe I need to... Right. That's a little awkward. So the center of the rocket isn't at 0. Can I move the center of the rocket to 0? Yes, I can. That might help. That would probably definitely help. But, oh, wait, no, I did not mean to do that. We want this thing. Here we go. Put that in the middle, and that might help. I need to move it back up a bit. But, yeah. Okay, right, now let's try. Let's try that. That should work a bit better now. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Boom. Okay, because the rocket wasn't centered. But now it is. Bada bing, bada boom. We got our 4. Cool. Yeah, you can manually edit the positions. You can mirror them. How do you mirror them? How do you mirror things? No, you can't. You cannot mirror them. Oh, is it this one? Quick mirror. Whatever, we got them all there now, so... Yeah, I guess that's the symmetry mode, right? And then this one here is actually duplicating things. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. We've done it now. Let's add our payload fairing. And cool. Okay, so this upper stage. We don't have the nice engine just yet, but that's okay. I guess still just a gnome engine. Just a nice little pressure-fed engine. But hopefully we can actually make this thing have a full nozzle length now. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine if we just shrink the size down. Yeah, perfect. Cool. What's our thrust to weight ratio? Not great. Let's up it a bit. It doesn't really need to be a thrust weight ratio of 1, but it'd be nice. Cool, how much delta V are we looking at? Ooh, a lot more delta V. Very, very nice. Okay, cool. And then we head over and get ourselves an into stage. How big do we want this rocket to be? I mean, well, that adds like super flat decouplers. The only 2 options are an in-stage and a radial decoupler. Do we even have the radial ones yet? I think it makes it look a lot nicer, to be honest. Like, it's just this is instead of... and I mean, there must be just a normal decoupler, right? But this is instead of, you know, attaching a decoupler and then the engine has a shroud attached to it, like in KSP. I'm sure there's a way to just decouple things. Just make the interstage a lot simpler. I think you could probably remove the fairing from the interstage, right? Presumably. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I haven't fully got used to all this yet. Anyway, do we have the radial one? I don't think we have the radial one yet. No. No, we do not. So it's just the stack one. So it still needs to be one great big stack. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to go and be a reasonably chunky boy. So that's only our 3rd stage. So let's have a pretty... Maybe we could make it a 2-stage rocket. Because if we're slapping the big expensive engine on... Yeah, I think we'll have enough delta V. So let's make it a 2-stage rocket. I think that'll work. I mean, look at this thrust to weight ratio. You need to make this engine a lot smaller to start with, but I think this is feasible. I don't like that you can't extend the fuel tanks with an engine attached, though. It means that you could increase the amount of delta V you have. I mean, can we attach to the side and still see our delta V numbers and still extend it? Okay, that does work, but it still feels a bit janky. Yeah, still not sure I like that. But yeah, look at that. So we've got a simple 2-stage rocket. If we could attach this engine to the bottom, that'd be nice. Why is it not letting me do that now? Oh, there we go. That was strange. Yeah, we got more Delta V than that previous 3-stage rocket. There you go. Wonderful gas generator engine to the rescue. You really can only get so far with pressure-fed engines, right? Okay. We're going to want these fins on, but they're going to need to be a little bit bigger. Quite a bit bigger, actually. Because we're launching from the military base now, so we want to have our things look a little bit more missile-like, I think. I think that's a bit of fun. Missiles are a bit of fun, right? I'm sure they don't do any harm to anyone. They're just there to look cool. Both Juno and KSP lock radial decouplers after stacked decouplers when, if I recall correctly, stacked decouplers came after in real life. That's a fair point, actually. Yeah. They did. First satellite only used radial stages. Didn't use any stack stages. Interesting point. Yeah, and of course the earliest rockets, they didn't want to risk lighting the engines in flight. So, you know, the Atlas lit all of its engines on the ground. Then you had 2 of those engines drop away and just had the single core sustainer engine. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, radial did technically come first. If you think about it, it's easier to bolt stuff to the side than it is to build an interstage and support another engine and light it in flight. You press the mouse thing and then press the square. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, part shape. You can change it without detaching parts. Yeah, I know, but it'd be nice if you just click and drag. You know, I think that would be ideal, without having to go onto this and change stuff, right? Like that. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was, you know, still part of the nice slick procedurality of all this stuff. Here's one thing I do wish the procedural parts in For All Kerbalkind had, is the arrows. You can just quickly build something out and then tweak all of the values later. Having to enter all the values manually on little sliders, it does take a while to build something accurate. If you could just slap something together that looks right and then tweak it later, that'd be nice. Anyway, let's have a little look at the properties of this engine. I can actually make it pressure fed. I just turned it into an OM engine. Cool. We want the Mage engine. I guess, do we need gimbal range? We got away without any gimbal before, but this is going to burn a lot longer, so we'll lose control of it, I think. So no, we'll keep the gimbal range. We'll keep it. Nozzle length. This is going to burn most of the way out of the atmosphere. What are we looking at? It's currently optimized for about 9 kilometers. 10 kilometers ish. That's probably about right, to be fair. That's probably about right. But our next engine, that's got its full nozzle length, so that's optimized for vacuum, as it should be. Yeah, it's a relatively simple 2-stage rocket. Remind me what contracts we had. We're going to save this as the absolute. Well, unless we come up with a different thing. Let's name it after a brand of rum that I actually like. There's a brand of honey rum you can only buy in Tenerife, and it is incredible. Every time I go, like, we pack the suitcase with them. I'm trying to remember the name. I've got a bottle of it, and it's actually important enough, because this is an important enough cool rocket. I'm actually going to go find out what it was called. I will be 3 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Okay, yeah, I was thinking I was right, and it's Santa Cruz. So yeah, you have whiskey tasting with Matt Lown. You have honey rum tasting with Beardy. Yeah, Santa Cruz, Las Canarias. It's really, really good. And the thing is, like, every restaurant you go to, after you have the meal and you've paid the bill, just free of charge, most of them will just bring you a little, like, round of little shots of them. You don't, like, shot it, you just sip it, and it's delicious. It's so Moorish. It's like a little bottle I've got for special occasions, and I need to get more because I'm running out. But I've got little glasses that I drink it out with, little space shuttles on them. Look at those. They're cute. Anyway, we won't be drinking that tonight. I maintain what I said about rum, but let's name it Santa Cruz. Oh, Santa Cruz. It's not actually a cruise missile, is it? No, we could. It's a ballistic missile, so it wouldn't be accurate to call it Santa Cruz, but it would be funny. Okay. Anything else we want to do on this engine? I think I'm pretty happy with all this, to be fair. Oh, yeah, because we've actually got a bell nozzle now. Is the Bravo nozzle's better than the bell? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know much about the Bravo nozzle. I know what a bell nozzle is. Why is the Bravo nozzle better? I believe it said so in the tech tree, didn't it? I assume does it cost more? I assume it's harder to... It's cheaper. What nozzle does the one up here use? That uses a bell nozzle. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about different nozzle designs. Yeah, I know the basic ones. I know your conical nozzle, your bell nozzle, the advantages of those. There we go. Basic bell-shaped rocket nozzle, more efficient than a cone. So it is a bell-shaped nozzle. So how is it different to the bell nozzle? I'm so confused. What is it? I don't actually understand. Do I need to Google that? Guess it's just a smaller nozzle. One is made out of a bell. The other is bell-shaped. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it because I genuinely don't know. Bravo nozzle. Bravo rocket nozzle. Is that a real thing? I mean, there's a simple rockets thread. Here we go. Other than having less configurability, can't figure out what the main difference is with it and the bell nozzle. There we go. Okay, it's a performance difference. One of them is just cheaper with a bit worse performance. Oh, so it's from before the update. It's just a nozzle optimized to boost a rocket inside the atmosphere, very high thrust and okay performance. So the Bravo nozzle is slightly better performance and higher efficiency, so better thrust to weight ratio than a Bell nozzle. But in sea level, the increased performance over the Bell nozzle is much higher than in a vacuum, right? So it's optimized for use on first stage / boosters during liftoff. So it's better optimized for sea level, apparently. Pre-optimized version of the bell nozzle for lazier people. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool, yeah, because I was thinking, like, Bravo, that's not a nozzle geometry I've heard of my degree, but no, it's the game's name for it, which makes sense. Okay, so yeah, it is just basically the same. But it looks cool, so, you know, we'll leave it on Bravo. We'll leave it on Bravo, and we're also going to offset it into the rocket a bit because otherwise it looks a bit weird. Cool. I think we're happy, but I think this one needs to look this needs to look different, I think, to the previous rocket. Any suggestions for textures? I'm open to them. Hexagonal panels. I think channels would probably be cool on this one, right? Make it look like a redstone rocket. Yeah, we're going to go for channels, I think. Channels on this one. We'll have some panels on the interstage. And then some more channels there. We can texture the payload fairing. Panels again, probably. Yeah, I think that looks nice. And that control disc, yeah, we'll recolor that in a sec. Okay, and let's do some coloring. So we went for the mono theme before, but oh, that looks, it just jumps out a little bit more, doesn't it? Cosmonaut, covert. But we are launching from a military site, actually. We think military missile or like white? People are saying Atlas 2 blue. Oh, the Europa one looks quite cool. But are people liking... that's default. We don't want default, to be fair. No, I like this one. This one looks nice. I think with a light blue instead of that beige. Yeah, that's nice. What do we think of that? Had a huge label with a rocket name. Yeah, I think we can do that. Gonna have to figure out how to configure this thing. Here we go. Santa Cruz. Which font do we want? 14 segment. I quite like this one. Can we make it vertical? Like vertical text? Instead of horizontal? So the letters are down? That'd be nice. That's just the horizontal anchor, vertical anchor, gradient. We don't want a gradient. Should have a MIRV payload. It does look like a missile, doesn't it? Yeah, it does look a military vibe. I don't know if we can make it vertical, actually. That's a shame if you can't do that. It seems like something you should be able to do. But apparently no. So yeah, obviously like we're going to rotate it. Just the width and height sliders to make it vertical. Aha! There we go. You can do it. Very cool. I'm going to have these as two separate labels actually so I can make them further apart. I do love how easy it is to duplicate parts. So Santa Cruz missile, but not a cruise missile. Santa Cruz, but not a cruise missile. Important distinction. Nice. I think I have it on both sides. There we go. Boom! What do we think? Santa Cruz. We happy? Better than Pizza Hut sponsorship. Santa's Cruise Missile. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good name. Right, this probably needs to be... Yeah, you know, we'll just leave it as Santa Cruz. I'm not going to do Santa Cruz 1. It's just our Santa Cruz launch vehicle. Cool. I'm happy with that. Let's launch this thing. And we can now launch it from the alley pad. Secret rocket launch facility surrounded by mountains meant to do potentially explosive tests without harming any equipment. Sounds perfect. That's how Santa delivers his presents. I'm glad I've got you guys giving me tips in the chat because I know this game is so configurable. Like there's always going to be ways to do things, but obviously there's so many options it can get a little overwhelming. I don't want to be there fumbling over options for ages, you know. It's really helpful having you guys here to tell me when I'm being an idiot. Oh, maybe I should have added a bit of curve to these labels. Can you add curve to them? They're sort of sticking out a bit. Can you add a bit of curvature to them? I assume you can, right? Let's see if we can. There's got to be a way to just like curve them to the shape of the fuel tank. Surely. Curvature, yes, there is. Cool. Which way is it curving? Is it curving the way that I expect? I think it is. I just need to like offset it out again. Oh no, it's curving like round that way because it's this way up. That's a bit of a shame. Yeah, so it's like curving it the wrong way. See, it's curving them all like one way around. So you can't, yeah, the curvature of its angle between each character. That's a shame. Yeah, so you can't curve each character themselves, which is a bit of a shame. But I do kind of get it. Okay, it's fine. We just won't look at the rocket from the particular angle where it looks silly. Doing actual curvature isn't easy because the fuselage is not a perfect cylinder. It's 24 subdivisions, so it's hard to match. Okay, yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It was worth a try. Yeah, see, KSP doesn't even have that because KSP's got flag decals that are fixed curvatures. The mod that we have in For All Kerbal Kind is conformal decals, and that does map it then onto the mesh of the model, which is really, really cool. Okay, let's have a look at our new base. Ah, very cool. Look at that. A whole, like, exhaust redirector and everything. Cool. Like, where's the runway? There is a runway near-ish. Yes, there it is. It's Area 51. I mean, alley base. Oh, cool. Yeah, so you got the aircraft stuff over here. Then we got a little isolated launch pad over here. Awesome. Zoom further away to see the airport. Yeah, there we go. Definitely not a missile base. I mean, we're not helping here with our rocket design, are we? But I'm sure it's fine. We have actually got enough stages on this one we don't need to worry about. I think the staging's correct. How do we look at the rest of the stages? Is there a way to look at them all? No. Because we've got the first stage here. Can I look at all our stages somehow? Not that I can see. Maybe it's set in stone once you've launched. Okay, where are we? We're much closer to the equator now. See all of our different satellites. We should probably start deorbiting them. They're all just called Absolute 2. They're only like rocket stages. They're not satellites really. Might just blow them up. But at least we're on the equator now, which is nice. What are we doing? So we need to get to that orbit and this orbit. So what we can do is we can get to this orbit, deploy our 4 CubeSats, and then continue on to this orbit, which will be easier once we've lessened the load. Cool. Right, let's do this. It makes a little bit more sense now we're on the equator. That's actually like lined up with the launch pad. Cool. Blast off. Woo! No, wait, that's west. We want to go east. I was facing the wrong way. We want to go this way. It's useful that it has east and west like actually marked on the nav board. I don't think KSB has that. It's a nice little touch. Make sure you're flying the right way. Oh, look at that. Definitely not a cruise missile. Honest. Because it's not a cruise missile. It's a ballistic missile. Get it right. Professionals have standards. Oh, crikey. This engine has a lot of thrust. We need to pitch ourselves over. Oh, crikey. A lot more. It's this autopilot thing. Oh, it really doesn't like me. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try that again and throttle that engine down. Let's try that again. Yeah, I'm trying to use the lock heading like it's SAS, and it's not really SAS. The exhaust diverters actually work in the game. Okay, we'll have a little look. Can't see staging after launching. Okay, yeah, so that is a thing. We'll have a look, closer look at the exhaust diverter this time. And we'll throttle the engine down a bit, and I'll try and stop using lock heading like it's SAS, because it's clearly got its limitations. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, so they do. That's cool. I like that. Right, throttle the engine down to like, well, pretty high right now, but there's a limit to how fast you want to go in the lower atmosphere. We'll do like 75%. Probably could have scaled that engine down. I wasn't prepared for how powerful it is. We could definitely stretch this and add a few upper stages to it. I said I'd stop using it like it's SAS. Then again, turning it off isn't a great deal. But, oh no, actually you can get some decent control. We don't have much roll control though. Yeah, these fins aren't doing much. Don't have much control at all actually. This thing is gimbling, right? Or did we remove the gimbal? I swear we didn't remove the gimbal. Unless this nozzle type just flat out removes it for you. I've completely lost control over this. I can't. Oh! Oh, I had translation mode. Oh, T turns on translation. Okay. It locks the heading and turns on translation mode. That's why. Let's change that. Let's change it. Flight craft. Lock heading is T. Oh, it's enter as well. Ah, here we go. Right. What is... I mean, I'm just going to enable it myself if I ever use it. So we're just going to remove that. Remove that. Yes. Done. Okay. Third time is the charm. Third time's the charm. T on translation mode is something we're fixing soon. We just found out about it recently. That's alright, Pedro. Consider yourself forgiven. Now if you saw it, symmetry for the payloads, you make a strut match the width of the payloads, and as short as you can, it will let you use symmetry. Interesting. I think it'd be nice if you could just use symmetry on the payloads though. I mean, I guess you gotta be able to assign each one to different contracts, but yeah, it would be nice to be able to just use symmetry for them. Okay. Let's try that again. Third time's the charm. Here we go. Yeah, now we can control the rocket much better. Much better. Throttle that back to about 3/4 thrust. Yeah, check it out. Very cool. Ooh. Keep an eye on the specific orbits we need to get to. The first one is 97 by 590. We can do that. We can do that just fine. We'll throttle that engine back a bit more because we're reaching quite high G loads. Oh, I forgot, we're actually quite still reasonably low in the atmosphere to the point where aggressive maneuvers like that aren't great. You kind of want to stay within the, or near to the prograde marker until you're above the 30-kilometer mark, and then you can kind of do what you want. And the atmosphere doesn't bite those control surfaces or lifting bodies of the vehicle quite so aggressively. Right, let's pitch on over. Oop. How much fuel we got on this stage? 6% I think left in this stage. So this has pretty much got us all the way up to where we want to be. There we go. Let's just get ourselves away from that, and then okay. 3.5 minutes until apoapsis. So that's a cool shot though. Yeah. Check it out. Interesting that you can see the planet through the CubeSat payloads. Don't know what's up with that. There you go, Pedro. I found a bug for you. Unless that's just reflections. Is that a reflection in the top of them? Ah, it's a reflection. I see. It's a reflection of that side. Very cool. Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't realize that the CubeSats had little reflections on them. No, that's pretty. That's cool. Okay. I stand corrected. I'm very sorry. Yeah, Pedro's even mentioned in the chat. It's not. It's just a reflection. Okay. We don't have maneuver nodes yet, do we? We do? No, we don't. Yeah. That's fine. Do we know what our burn time of this is, this stage? Burn time. 2.5 minutes. Over that, actually. Yeah, we had a very steep ascent trajectory. And we're still on that steep trajectory, to be fair. So, assuming we need to use that entire stage to get into orbit, which I know we don't, because we're already traveling at 1,500 meters per second. We've got a lot more than that. We'll call it 2 minutes. We'll start burning about a minute before apoapsis. That makes sense to me. Okay, here we go. Let's light that engine. So I'm not used to being able to throttle the engines quite so much. Just too much realism overhaul in KSP. Gorgeous. Okay. So orbit isn't quite so inclined this time. Yes, this is our first orbit we're aiming for. 97,590. So once our periapsis reaches 97 kilometers, it's plus or minus, but actually, yeah, we'll get up to 148 because that's the more accurate one. This has got a massive tolerance on it, so we'll get up to 148 kilometers, and then we'll burn the apoapsis up from there. Because this is plus or minus a lot as well, so we're already at the apoapsis requirements for our CubeSats. So we'll aim for 148. We can probably speed the time up a little bit there. Oh, you can actually do like 5 times. Is that physical? Oh no, it's because I said okay. I thought you could do like proper time warp, like space level time warp, if you're in space, even if you're burning an engine. But no. It is still physics warp. We just set that to 5 times. Cool. Almost there. Let's throttle our engine back. We could detach them now and just like drop them into the atmosphere and still complete the contract. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, maybe the tolerances are a little bit too generous here. You can have like a plus 100 kilometers, but maybe not the minus 100 kilometers. Doesn't quite make sense. I mean, maybe, you know, the contract is to drop them on a suborbital trajectory. Who knows? Anyway, let's go for 148. We were going to go for, weren't we? Beautiful. Farewell, CubeSats. Best of luck on your journey. And there they go. Look at that cute little formation. Staying just like perfectly aligned next to each other. Oh, that's fun. Right. I want to center the camera back. So this one? There is a button to center the camera back. But whatever, we'll just do this. That works too. Okay, cool. So we've done that one. Now we need to get to this one. So our periapsis is 148, but this contract is assigned to other craft. Click the button to update it. Ah, okay, so it followed the cube sets, interestingly. What? Oh. I think it was tracking the previous craft that we launched for that contract. And now because we're in space. That seems a bit mean. Yeah, I feel... Yeah, okay, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it tracked a specific craft. The contract, I didn't set it to tracking this one. Do you think it would just track, like, any contract would just track the craft that you're currently flying? But apparently no. Which is a bit mean, I think. Yeah. How much explosive power do you have in this fuel tank? That's what I'm interested in. 50? Still not enough to meet the fireworks contract. The orbital fireworks. Yeah, I mean, start grounded makes sense. Yeah, but... leave a craft in orbit and finish multiple contracts without doing anything by just selecting it from the menu. Yeah, I suppose. Like, KSP's got the launch a new craft requirement, right? I think it would make sense. I was going to say it makes sense to start tracking the craft that you've just launched, but say you've got a mission in progress, then you want it to keep tracking that one, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's just that it's a mechanic I didn't expect, I suppose. Yeah, maybe we can do the Lightspeed contract and then I'll be happy enough. 10 minutes till our perigee, so let's go there. See if we can do the Lightspeed contract, then I'll be pretty happy if we achieve that one. Lesson learned for the next flight. We still made more than a profit on this, so it's quite alright. How much LTV we got? We got a kilometer per second. Yeah, we can do the Lightspeed contract. Piece of cake. Yeah, I don't want to refly this flight. I think we can move on to bigger and better things. What purposes do we reach for that? Yeah, they're way higher anyway, so cool. Okay, no worries. For this one, I think we are actually going to drop it into the atmosphere. Try and reduce the amount of space debris we're creating here. We get to see some of the atmospheric effects then as well. Oh, I overcorrected there. Whoa. Yeah, it doesn't rotate the craft particularly quickly. But that's fine. We're deorbiting. Cool. Let's crash into the planet. Have a bit of fun. This thing's got to burn up very quickly, I think. What's your sea level? If you want a snappy autopilot, you can tweak the PID gains in both the designer and in flight. Oh, okay, interesting. I didn't realize you actually mess with the PID stuff. For those that don't know, that's proportional integral. Derivative control. That's it. I lost the word there. So you've got a feedback loop, which sort of you can tune the numbers there to make things more responsive and achieve the sort of target goal faster or slower with more or less oscillation. Kaboom! There we go. Cool. Just bring the procedural up. Proportional, not procedural. Quite the brain fart. Did I say procedural? Proportional control. Yeah, it's proportional to a fixed value. Your response. So proportional integral derivative. That's what I meant. I've been playing too much Juno and drinking too many Coronas. Yeah, too much procedural stuff on screen for my brain to think of any other word beginning with P. Oh, Pedro said procedural. Okay, cool. I was thinking. I wouldn't have been surprised if I had said that, though. Okay, so yeah, we got this Drew Orbit one still. And we got another CubeSat mission, 5 CubeSats. We can just put an extra one in the middle, actually, so that's very achievable. So you know what? Yeah, we'll do these 2. Yeah, we're not going to do heliosynchronous just yet. But yeah, we'll do these 2. We got a bunch of tech points though. Let's have a look. More power, get gas generator 2. The Omega nozzle, gigantic nozzle that pairs well with the gas generator 2 power cycle. The Apex engine. Oh, that looks like an F1 if I've ever seen one. Heavy, expensive drinks RP1 like there's no tomorrow, but it will have the power to get even your most poorly engineered contraptions into space. 400% rocket size. That's pretty cool. But I think the first thing we need is 5 stages. Soyuz interstage and side interstage. Means we can build like an R7-alike rocket, right? And I'm quite excited for that possibility. So I definitely want that. This is all parachutes and stuff, and we're not doing any of that stuff yet. We're not doing any entry, descent, and landing. I think orbital maneuvers, Spirit engine is probably going to be where they'd go. I'm not a huge fan of solid rocket engines, if I'm honest. Rounded noses, hemisphere, paint shop, stripped variants of all the fuselages, including fuel tanks to add a pop of color to your craft. Display orbit lines. Ah, right, because at the moment we don't actually have the orbit lines. Other spacecraft. That's cool. 10 max active craft, and a bunch more contracts. Tempting. Tempting. I think orbital maneuvers is still... Yeah, and crew limit, but we're not actually launching crew yet. I like the crew capsules. Yeah, here we go. Crew compartments and space capsules are there. Yeah, you can build some planes and stuff there as well. Okay, we're going to go for orbital maneuvers, I think. But I think our next focus... I do like that we start with uncrewed stuff before we start doing the crewed stuff, unlike KSP, which I guess it is... I do understand starting with a crew capture, as you can see the Kerbals screaming. I understand the charm of that, but obviously it makes a lot more sense to be starting with basic sounding rockets than launching crew into space before sending space probes. Makes sense for Kerbals, but I think Drews are a little bit more aware of safety. Yeah, I think what we'll do is next stream, which will be next Friday, same time. It'll be a little shorter next week, but still be the same time. We'll probably go for the cockpit, not necessarily a space capsule to start with, and I think we'll go for some planes. Like we'll do some of the plane stuff. We've got the RC enthusiast stuff here, so we've got what we need to do some of the plane things. I think we need to get fidget spinners. Yeah, to get propellers. I just said fidget spinners. And touching the sky would help as well. Actually, we got wings here. So yeah, we just need fidget spinners really. We just need some propulsion. So we'll go for fidget spinners, and we'll do a bunch of the plane stuff next stream, I think, and then we'll be working towards getting comfy and see if we can build ourselves an aircraft with the crew cabin, and then probably get a jet engine. If there's a jet engine here, we've got electric motors, a bunch more props, leaf blowers. Here we go. Centaur engine. That's what we want. I love these tech names. Obviously, druids are more aware of safety. They wear protective clothing all the time. Yeah, I mean, you know, look at these guys. They're always aware. You never know when you might want to go into space. Always wearing their spacesuits. Okay. Let's make some modifications. We just need to add one more CubeSat just to the middle. And we're going to be all ready to go. Oh, we want it to relative to the world. There we go. Et voila! We have ourselves a 5th CubeSat. Wunderbar. Save our craft. Yeah, this thing's got all the performance we could need for now. We've definitely got a lot more performance we can tap there. We can definitely stretch it. Stretch these tanks, add a few more upper stages. This is a nice sort of workhorse rocket, I think, for our early contracts. And we'll see if we can do sun synchronous orbit. And then we might call it for the stream, I think. If we can do sun synchronous orbit today, I think I'll be pretty happy. Ooh, those were my knuckles. I'm sorry if you guys heard that on the stream. Okay, cool. Damn, it costs a lot more to launch from the alley pad, but we have millions in the bank, and it's more fun to look at the new launch site, so we're going to do that. But yeah, once we've done sun synchronous orbits, we've done our sort of early satellites, I think, yeah, next stream, we'll do some of the RC stuff, we'll do some plane stuff, I think. And once we've done a bunch of plane stuff, we've got the jet engines, we've thrown our druids around, got them trained up with high Gs. Oh, look at that, it's nighttime. Beautiful. I think the nighttime ambience is a little high though. I think I put that a bit too high. Let's turn that down. Because yeah, the ambient light in space makes sense, but ambient light at night, that looks a bit better, I think. 200? Yeah, I think that looks a little nicer. You guys think? Yeah, it looks better. It looked a bit silly, I think. They just have hyper COVID, need to wear a suit all the time. That's why their population is so low. They wear protection at any given time. Don't knock it. Don't knock it. They're wise. Okay. They had their sex ed in school. They took it a little too seriously. Let's have that not be part of the official Juno canon. Oh, okay. Moving swiftly on. Let's make sure we're tracking the right craft. We're definitely tracking this craft. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we were tracking this craft last time. And when we deployed the CubeSats, it changed. So maybe we have to take another CubeSat for that mission? I don't know. Do you have to assign a mission to the command disk? I wasn't. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Oh, I did not turn on the lock trajectory. There we go. Oh, it's all quite quiet over there. I guess they're trying to keep the secret base hidden. They've got blackout in effect. Okay, so we deploy the CubeSats, and yeah, we just continue to do the rest of the contract with the remaining spacecraft. Okay. So it's my fault for not checking the contracts when we launched last time. No biggie. Oh yeah, we're going to throttle the engine like way down, right? Ooh. That's a little bit of an aggressive ascent. I was too busy looking at the contracts. What purpose are we after anyway? Pretty steep ones, to be fair. We'll go for an initial periapsis of 123. So it doesn't really matter if our ascent is very aggressive. Holy crap. Yeah, I forgot to throttle that engine down. Bit of a doozy there. This is the least efficient ascent I think I have done in years. I'm not entirely used to the control scheme for these rockets. I mean, I guess they're designed to be flown with this, but you know, I prefer to be able to just see the rocket and fly it with the keyboard. Right. There we go. Actually, we're not going to hit our apoapsis for a while. Let's look at our stupid ass trajectory. Yeah, it's not really ideal, is it? That's fine. What's the burn time on this engine? 2.5 minutes. Yeah, we'll do what we did last time and go to 1 minute before apoapsis. He's beating my stream career now. This is embarrassing. I'll catch up tomorrow. I'm beating Deep, of all people. I've only just started playing this game, Deep. Have you only just like started a new career then? If I do have early access to the 1.3 contracts. So, you know, you'll probably want to ask for that. Or wait until 1.3 comes out with all of its tweaks and stuff. Then again, I can see, have you already started the career? I don't know if you can change them. I guess you can just overwrite the XML files mid-career, maybe. I'm not sure. How far are you through Deep? For those who don't know, Deep is a Juno New Origins YouTuber, amongst other things. Been beating my career save since the start. I've never touched a career. Fair enough. I think a career mode, I think like the KSP2 devs put it very well in that it's like a soft tutorial. In a way, it just introduces you to the game mechanics at a very natural pace. It's just throw all the parts and things at you at once. So by the time you finished it, you know what each part does, you know its use cases, you know when sort of you're expected to use it. And cool, we are in orbit. Actually, we can get the Paris up to 148. There we go. Okay, cool. And then time to periapsis, 15 minutes. Beautiful. Then we can up the apoapsis, deploy the CubeSat, and then just up it a little bit more. Okay, this is plus or minus 625. So if we have enough delta V, which I think we definitely do, we can just get into this orbit and deploy the CubeSat. So it probably makes the most sense. So we'll do that. I played Korea when it was being tested because I got to test updates and such, but didn't play it much after that. I only just started the stream Korea. I haven't really played Korea even since its launch. I just unlocked the military guy. Right, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, Deep, I assume you've played a lot more of the sandbox and the like since before Korea came out, and you're already used to the game. I'm assuming. I hadn't really discovered your channel until I suddenly had an interest in Juno. Like, I was interested into learning about the game after the devs got in contact back around KSP2's launch. I've had a bit of an interest in it. Just hadn't had time to try it. So then now I have time, and I was interested in streaming stuff. People have sort of spoken to me about it. Said, hey, you should try it, and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, you know, I needed to learn to play the game. So if there is a career mode there, obviously I was going to jump at the opportunity. Okay, let's up the apoapsis to 1400 because this has got a big enough tolerance on it that, yeah, we'll be fine. And voila! There we go. Right, we ready? Let's deploy our CubeSats. Just going to get a nice little shot of it. Off they go. Our children carry off into the void, embarking on their own adventures. Farewell, good CubeSats. You served us well. Beautiful. How much boom do we have in the tank? Not enough again. Ah, that's a shame. Should we create a bit of space debris and blow this one up, or should we deorbit it again? I think we'll just blow it up. Kaboom! Cool. I think we're going to blow up those other ones as well. I mean, yeah, it'll create space debris, but we're druids. I mean, yeah, we're not Kerbals, but we still don't care. That is the most, like... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Save flight. The most, like, irresponsible thing for me to say as a spacecraft engineer. I don't work as a spacecraft engineer, but I'm qualified as a spacecraft engineer. So I still consider myself a spacecraft engineer. People ask, like, what my profession is. I say spacecraft engineering. That's what I did my degree in. It's what I'm interested in. And I'm learning skills relevant to that. I'm doing the work I want to do. It just happens to go on aircraft at the moment because the company I work for doesn't do spacecraft because there's no early careers way into spacecraft. But I'm doing all the same work that I want to do on spacecraft. It's easily transferable, the particular work that I do. So I'm just looking to gain as much experience as I can and then have hopefully an opportunity present itself at maybe a startup or something, or, you know, any of the non-startups would be nice. You know, I was looking at Virgin Orbit and then they went bankrupt, but Orbex and all the likes, anything through the UK Space Agency or ESA, or Airbus Defence and Space, satellites, one of those, and go along and go, hey, I've got years of experience in this stuff. I did a degree in spacecraft engineering, so I already know all the orbital mechanics and stuff. You don't have to teach me that. Give me a job. That's the plan. We're not Kerbals, but we still don't care. Absolute marketing material. Right. We've got a few more CubeSat missions. 3 sats to here, 4 sats to there. Another orbit mission. But no. We're going to do heliocentric orbit. Boom. 1,000 kilometers by 1,000 kilometers with a specific inclination. Could we combine it with one of these? I mean, with our initial orbit, maybe. Not this one. Do these overlap? Plus 102, plus minus 200. I think these do. Obviously, you'd have to have 7 CubeSats, though, to do both of them. Our initial orbit will align, like our initial injection up to that 1,000 kilometer altitude will align with this one. So we're going to do this one at the same time, put those into a near heliocentric orbit, and then boost ourselves up into that heliocentric orbit. Cool. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. So it's only 3, I want to say. 3 sats, yeah. Okay, so we need to reduce the number of satellites we have. How are we going to make 3 base symmetry? I guess just like this. That works, doesn't it? There we go, sorted. We should have more than enough delta V here. Let's get into this orbit, I think. But we are going to launch from the Juno village pad. Few issues. Too tall for the selected launch location. Oh, we've actually made a rocket that's a little too chunky. Let me think. Is losing 2 meters and the associated delta V of that worth? Yeah, because you if you're going into polar, particularly a retrograde orbit, you want to launch as far north or south as you can. It's going to cost us a lot more delta V than I think it would cost us to shrink the rocket. Let's see how much we lose if we shrink it. So we need to shrink it by about 2 meters. So we're at 8, so we need to shrink that to like 6. How much would that leave us with? Still enough. Nah. Actually, let's just Control Z, can't we? No, we'll just launch it from our military site. It'll be fine. Can make it wider and shorter. Yeah, I guess, but I quite like the way that our rocket looks. I don't want a chunky rocket. A chocket, you could say. No, I quite like the rocket we've designed, and I know we don't need to. There's no tooling cost or anything in this, but I quite like designing a launch vehicle and then using that launch vehicle. I got trained to use that kind of methodology by RP1 for all Kerbal Kind, but yeah, I like doing that. It's nice to have like a little family of launch vehicles, I find. Just orienting myself because I had a little like heat pack on my back. Still got back pain and stuff from that back injury I had a few years back. It's a lot better than it was. I'm doing physiotherapy and the like, which helps, but still pain. Anyway, 110 degrees. Is there any way of seeing our inclination? I assume it's on our trajectory. Location. Where's our inclination on here? Here. Okay. This is on the contract. How did you come up with the name of the rocket? Santa Cruz. Favorite rum. From Tenerife only. They make it there, I think. Anyway. Just thinking. Yeah, probably launch like this odd heading at 315 degrees. So north and west. Let's try that. The throttle of about 75%. Pitch round, roll round, I should say. Then we're gonna go this way, autopilot. Thank you very much. And that should rapidly change our inclination. As soon as that hits 110, then we'll just align ourselves to whatever our orbital velocity marker is. See if we can have a little bit of a flatter ascent trajectory than last time. It was maybe a little bit too steep. Okay, we're rapidly approaching 110 degrees. It might have gone a little bit too much there. A little bit too retrograde. We need to just, yeah, we're overshooting a bit. We need to go like that way. I'm going to throttle this down. Switch this to orbital view. And there we go. That's about right. About there. We want to be. This is clearly very chaotic. I didn't realize you could tweak the flight controls yourself, like the PID values and everything. That's really cool that you can do that. I hadn't even considered the fact you might be able to do that, and the control of the vehicle itself is actually part of the design of the vehicle. I think that's very, very cool. Okay, how long till our apparatus is? A while. Okay. We want our periapsis to be... Oh yeah, we've got a big tolerance on it, so we just back our apparatus up to 1,000 kilometers, and then we'll just release. So that's fine. Burn time. So yeah, we'll go about a minute. Again, a minute before the apoapsis, we'll do our burn. Average KSP launch here. Yeah. Again, that's how I get into rough inclinations in for all Kerbal Kind as well. Just get the inclination window up and just finagle it until you're like, oh, I've overshot. And then as soon as it hits about the right number you want, switch on to orbit velocity and then just align with whatever inclination your orbital velocity is on. Because then that's, you know, the inclination that you've got. Oh, I should have started the engine by now. There we go. Very cool. Maybe I might just get rid of that fireworks contract. I don't think I'm ever actually going to do it. It's always just there on all these far more interesting contracts. I think I did it a couple of times on previous streams when I was getting started. But on these streams, starting this career mode, I just had bigger fish to fry from the get-go. And doing the fireworks contract. It's nice that you have the option of, you know, the little easier, repeatable contracts, but then it makes it clear what the progression contracts are versus ones you can just repeat to build up some funds and build up some confidence. Makes it clear what contracts unlock future contracts. It's nice. I like it. Alright, let's get that periapsis to a more healthy number. I love the slow motion feature. Okay, let's throttle that engine down. Right, so we want the apoapsis up to 1,000. Where are we right now? Here, periapsis is there. Yeah, sure. What's the tolerance on this? Can be minus 200. Yeah, okay, so we're fine. We're already meeting the requirements on that. Right, let's time up to our periapsis. Yo, is that KSP2? Not quite. Not quite. Nice to see you stream again. Thank you, Simon. Well, I'm streaming every week now. Stream every Friday. Same time every week. I'll have to miss a week. Not next week, but the week after. But, yeah, I'm getting into regular streaming. And it's something I've always wanted to be able to do. But just never had the time to do. Until now. Interestingly, about work, I actually have less free time. It's so much more structured. When I get home, that's it. Time is my own, right? So it's so much easier to make plans and to commit to things because I'm not going to suddenly have a surprise piece of coursework or something that. Oh, I just need to attach the CubeSats. I'm already meeting the requirements for this, I think. Right. Farewell, CubeSats. You have served us well. Skadoosh. And they're deployed. Nice. And let's get ourselves up to this. Oh, crap. It's our own CubeSats. That would have been awkward. Let's throw this engine down. Get a nice, accurate insertion into heliocentric orbit. It's not heliocentric. Heliosynchronous orbit. Heliocentric would be around the sun. This is in sync with our orbit around the sun. And cool. Why can't I time warp faster than... it's because I hadn't locked my heading, that's why. Time to wrap up this 21 minutes. Hey, it's South Pole! There is a marker there. It'd be nice to fly an aircraft there at some point. Build a big, long-range... super or hypersonic aircraft. We're going to do aircraft stuff next stream. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Because I haven't got really any experience with aircraft stuff in this game yet, but I am an aerospace engineer. I know I did spacecraft engineering, but we did a whole bunch of aerodynamics and stuff as well, so if I'm not able to figure it out, it would be a little bit embarrassing. But yeah, we'll see if we can fly to all the landmarks on Drew. You get a bunch of tech points for doing that as well, so be nice to visit them. And yeah, I'm sure there's some cool stuff as well. Interesting that the South Pole is a marker, but not the North Pole. The Drews clearly have a different focus. I misread that as 110 degrees. It's 100 degrees. It's 100 degrees. Not 110. Well, I don't know why I read it as 110. We are in too inclined of an orbit. And we haven't unlocked maneuver nodes yet. I don't think. No, we have not. Okay. We're going to have to change our inclination and just really carefully keep an eye on which orbital parameter. Actually, to be fair, because you can just burn this normal parameter will change, but as long as we're burning on the normal, it'll be fine. We need to check which direction we actually want to burn in. We want to decrease our inclination because we're in a 110 degree orbit, which means we want to burn towards the sun. I like it shows which way you're actually facing. Yeah, so that's right, the way that we are currently facing. Such an idiot. Clearly you didn't do aerospace engineering at uni since you went into aerospace straight after uni instead of F1 like most aerospace engineering students. Most aerospace engineering students go into finance. Then, after the finance lot, you have the F1 lot. But I didn't specifically do aerospace, I did spacecraft engineering. Very few people do spacecraft engineering if they don't want to go into aerospace. Like, they would have done the aerodynamics stuff. It was a very configurable course. It was aeronautics and astronautics, but I specialized and did my master's in spacecraft engineering. You should quick save. That is a good idea. Right. I just kind of forgot that I had access to quick saves. I'm so again just use the for all Kerbal kind where we don't use quick saves. That's increasing my inclination. Okay, I did the wrong one. With this decrease thing? Okay. That's strange. Because you want it nearer to 90, which would mean it would be aligned with the poles, surely. Oh, but that's what this is. Honestly, orbital inclinations are so confusing. Like, I was thinking, oh, you burn this way and it rotates the orbit round, but no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's the way your spacecraft is moving. You know, you're thinking of it. I was thinking of it as operating on the orbit itself, but no, the spacecraft moving more that way. It does shift the orbit more towards the 90-degree mark. I did a degree in this stuff, and it's still not intuitive. Right. It's a good thing we quick save. I think we're going to run out of propellant. Yeah. Let's restore that quick save. Oh, there's a loading screen. I haven't seen that before. Image made by Deep Space Industries. He's famous. He's famous. Okay. Let's try that again. This Sunday, For All Kerbal Kind returns. That came so soon. So soon. You're the first person to say that. And after that, it should be every weekend. Not from me, but from one of us. So, you know, from each of us, it's once every 3 weeks, but we stagger it between the three of us. That's the wrong one. Anti-normal. Yeah, I do like the Elite style map. I love the Elite Dangerous style maps and stuff. We kind of borrowed that theme when we did Kerbal Rising. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have enough Delta V to do this. The most expensive maneuvers you can do in orbital mechanics are inclination changes. I think even if we raised our orbit, we still don't have enough propellant, enough Delta V. No way this works. Damn, it's misread the contract. We loaded a quick save. Can we retry this flight? We can retry this flight. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to do that flight one more time. How long till the fourth player's added as China? Thank goodness you put a /S there. Or I might have flipped out. Enlightened when I found out Elite Dangerous was based on a game called Elite made in the 90s. Yeah, it's the same creator, David Braben. He made the original that was working on Elite Dangerous. But I think Elite Dangerous is kind of dead now, isn't it? Because the first-person shooter update or whatever wasn't very good, unfortunately. That's what I've heard. I used to play a lot of Elite. I used to have some videos on it as well, but I haven't played it in a very long time. I used to love it, though. I just love the immersion that game. Okay, so we don't need quite as aggressively west a trajectory as we had last time. Career-wise, can we cancel that? Okay, you can't cancel it within the flight scene. Well, now we know. No, we can't. Right. Let's go to 75% thrust, because that's actually all we need on this. We should probably need to shrink the engine anyway, make it a bit cheaper, but whatevs. Okay. So we just need slightly west of north. Again, used to For All Kerbal Kind, where you need to be a little more aggressive because obviously your starting equatorial velocity is a little bit higher. You have a flight stick to play Elite with. That must be amazing. Playing Elite in VR, I think, must be like the ultimate experience, right? Because it's all in first person. Now imagine playing Elite in VR, like full surround sound and stuff. That must be absolutely incredible. Really incredible game. Interestingly, like when No Man's Sky came out, everyone thought No Man's Sky would kill Elite, and then actually it's player numbers skyrocketed because a bunch of people tried No Man's Sky and went, oh, Elite's better than this, and went back to Elite. So like No Man's Sky's launch was really good for Elite, but then No Man's Sky's redemption after that has been really bad for Elite, because there's the thing about No Man's Sky now, at least I'm told, I do have it, but I haven't played it in a long time. Where's our inclination? Here we go. Oh, we're a bit too high. Inclination. We don't do that again. Change to orbit mode. Down to 100 degrees, please. Oop. Oh, bugger. We've we've burnt out. I think we had another slightly too aggressive in a sense. But the thing about No Man's Sky now is there's just so much stuff to do, right? You just never run out of stuff to do. It's one thing into another thing into another thing into another thing. Whereas the problem with Elite was always it was absolutely incredible, huge game, but just 100 light years wide and about an inch deep. There were some really incredible experiences there, but it was a lot of downtime between them, which made the experiences that you did have much more exciting. But I just found there wasn't quite enough content to keep me interested. But yeah, that No Man's Sky redemption arc definitely was impressive. Public Static Void. Okay, right. At least we're on the right inclination this time. So if we just pitch ourselves on over to the equator, well, the horizon, I should say, on our nav ball. I do like that you stay with a fixed orientation relative to the nav ball, whereas in KSP you fix the orientation and it's that particular orientation just relative to free space or the orbit. So as the nav ball changes relative to the ground beneath you, you stay fixed. You can't in time warp stay fixed relative to a reference point in the nav ball, whereas here we're staying relative to the horizon, even as we're orbiting around, which is cool. I like that. I think it's more useful. We should have fired the engine by now. I was too busy fanboying out about this game, but I think we'll be fine. Right, we want only a pretty small periapsis actually, just to deploy those CubeSats and then continue on into heliocentric orbit. Heliosynchronous, I keep saying heliocentric. Should be 9:45 at your place. I'm an hour ahead, just fun fact I guess. Yeah, after this mission, I said I'd end the stream after we got into heliosynchronous orbit, and here we are. Almost. I was going to end the stream after the last launch, but I kind of ballsed it up. Farewell, CubeSats, for the second time. Okay. Where's our periapsis? 10 minutes away. Let's get to that periapsis, and we'll get ourselves into that heliosynchronous orbit. Relative to our prograde marker, please. Thank you very much. But here we are, stream guys. Not quite. We're not quite there yet. And there we go. That's the apoapsis. Blast ourselves up to that apoapsis. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll circularize. It's interesting looking satellite, I suppose, but we don't have... Yeah, I guess, is there a normal stacked decoupler without an interstage? I guess I'll just ask you about that, Deep. Can you, like, remove the interstage? Or you just have to have a tiny, tiny interstage, like, as the decoupler, perhaps? Ah, I buggered it up. We were in the right orbit, and then I tried to adjust it a bit more. There we go. Hold it for 5 seconds, and voila! Heliosynchronous orbit, or as I kept calling it all stream, heliocentric orbit. Not quite. Oh, there we go. There we go. I mean, do we leave this in orbit? Nah. Blow it up. I'm going to have like a few active craft anyway, so makes sense to just explode it, I think. Well, there we go. We got some tech points. So I think in the next stream, as I said, we're going to be doing some aircraft stuff. Don't quite have enough tech points to unlock fidget spinners, which is what we really need. But we'll do RC enthusiasts, some of the progression stuff, which is really very easy to do. The jump and all that, and that will give us a bunch of tech points, I am sure. Thank you for watching, everyone. We've had about 50 concurrent viewers. Thank you very much to Riptionary X and Corsaro Valant or Valante. One of those two. Corsaro and Riptionary, anyway, for your very kind donations. And I'm sure you've enjoyed having your name scrolling at the bottom. Whole stream. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Brickster. Deep, particularly, and Pedro. Thanks for sticking through this whole stream and giving me some pointers when I've been making stupid mistakes. Stay safe, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you the same time next Friday. This stream, as I said, is going unlisted, but it will remain in a public playlist, so if you want to rewatch it or something, or watch any future ones after they've aired, just head to that Juno Conquest streams playlist, and it'll be in there. I will be making some summary videos, some short 5 to 10 minute summaries of the streams I've been doing. So these first 2 streams might go into one 5-10 minute video. I don't know exactly what the format that's going to be, but the priority this weekend is For All Kerbal Kind, which will be coming out on Sunday. So I will see you then, Penguinauts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Toodaloo.